In today's video, we are going to be talking about the DLCs, the base game, and whether or not just getting the base game is worth it, or getting it and all DLCs is worth the price. Currently, as far as I'm aware, the price is $20 for the base game and around $40 for the upgraded, well, with all of the DLCs, and with each DLC costing around $4 depending on what it is. So, first of all, is the base game worth it? Well, I've played Space Engineers for multiple years, and on PC I've logged 150 hours, and on my Xbox I've logged about 2,000 hours. Quite a lot of time playing this game. And in my opinion, it depends whether or not it's worth it. And I know a lot of creators say that it depends on how you like to play, or if it's better for you. But in reality, for Space Engineers, it really is depending. And not just because if you enjoy it or not, but depending on how you want to play. In my opinion, I think that Space Engineers is better for you if you play multiplayer. And for a lot of people, that may either be a really good upside or a really big downside, because I know both people who love single player or love multiplayer. Personally, I prefer to play multiplayer games. I'm not the biggest fan of being by myself in single player. It's just not a thing I prefer to do. Alright, let's get into multiplayer in Space Engineers. Now, the multiplayer aspect of Space Engineers has always been in existence. It was one of the core aspects of playing Space Engineers, and I believe it still is. For me, I much more prefer multiplayer compared to single player, just because of the fact that playing multiplayer adds a fun aspect to the game. Being able to see your creations being flown by someone other than you, or vice versa, you flying someone else's creation, and just seeing your world be built up by others is just such an intriguing experience that I feel when or you choose to get Space Engineers, it's just more invigorating and more fun to have other people playing, if you know what I mean. Now, and what makes it even better is the fact that you don't need the DLCs to use the DLCs. So if your friend has every DLC in the game, if you buy the base game and he builds your ship, you can use every DLC block he places. Now, can you weld them up if they're placed? Yes. Can you build them yourself? No. But the thing is that it's still a fully functional game, and you can use those blocks still. Because there are a ton of games that will block those DLC blocks completely behind the paywall to where you can't use them unless you have the DLC, which Space Engineers didn't do, which I'm very grateful for. I believe that them doing this allows multiplayer to be a lot more inclusive to players who can't just afford the $40 you need to pay for every DLC in the game. Because it seems cheap to pay $4 per DLC, but the amount of functionality it adds, by the time you get the end, it's almost a completely new game. Now, what also can change the game a lot and is typically free is mods. Now, as we get into mods, just quickly before I fully get into the mods, just want to thank or recognize that this is Space Engineers video. If you want to go watch, I will link their trailers channel below so that you can see all the trailers I've been using in the video as the background in these talks. Either way, back to the video, let's get into the mods. Now, mods to Space Engineers are, I feel, one of the best implementations of modding I've ever seen. In Space Engineers, they have opened their game to the community. They have fully integrated mods into the game, so as not only are they cross-platform compatible, but their mods are also cross-platform compatible. Now, there are certain things that I wish were in both versions. Evidently, they are different. I will talk about that as well. But the fact that they included modding into the game itself to make it so that Xbox players can play and have mods is extremely, amazing. For example, Minecraft. Minecraft has already attempted to remove mods in Bedrock, and in Java Edition, it's just really difficult and it's really hard. It sometimes won't work, or there's a function that breaks, causing the entire mod to fail. But in Space Engineers, they have integrated the mods themselves into the game, so as anyone who creates a mod can simply upload it, and it's in the game, just like that. It's just an amazing implementation of mods, and I feel like it just adds so much more value into how the game is, because it can be shaped by the community. For example, I always play with mods in Space Engineers, because the integration they've allowed, all these mods can look amazing. Now, can they look horrible because people don't put time and effort into the mods? Yes, but they can also look amazing if those modders put time and effort into the models they're building. It can be amazing. For example, I can't go without armor ramps, because it just makes it so much easier to build for me in the game. And I can also not go without special thrusters or special certain window blocks. It's just an amazing feature they've added to fully integrate mods into the game, and I think it just completely changes the field. It adds so much value. Some people may not see it this way. Some people don't like mods and they'd rather they not be included. And that is a perfectly valid reason, and I have people who do not prefer to use mods. Now, I do prefer to use mods, specifically scripted mods. Now, scripted mods essentially allow you to completely alter the code. So for example, I always run with a random encounters mod in my worlds, so that it causes enemies to come to me and attack me, not me having to go out and search for them, which isn't a very realistic form of combat. You want to feel like it is not just your world. Rather than feeling completely in control, you feel like you're only in control of your section, and that control is slipping. That really makes it such a more interesting game to me, and some people may not agree with that, but personally, that makes it all the more worthwhile for me to pay for it, especially because they're free. They're not behind a paywall, you don't need any DLCs, it's free, which just makes it another 100 times better, because you'll see that certain games will possibly put this modding system behind the paywall and add them as like a DLC, which I don't believe is correct, because sometimes they don't even pay the creators for putting their mods in there. But now let's go on to the cross-compatible stuff about the game. Cross-compatibility in Space Engineers has been one of the things they've introduced in more recent years, but still it's been there for a while. So they have officially added support for PlayStation 5, if I'm aware. Xbox and PC are now all supported. Now, this is just an amazing thing, because it's always good to see cross-compatible games, pretty much. It's great, because first of all, you don't need servers on Space Engineers, you can just invite people directly to your world, and it just makes it so much easier, more free, less payment, first of all, which is one of my biggies, is I don't like companies and games causing you to be put behind huge paywalls, even when it becomes necessary. Just putting people behind these huge paywalls for certain essential features it's something that just causes me to lose interest in the game. And in this game, making it completely free to play with your friends, like I said earlier, and making it cross-compatible for free is amazing. It just makes me so happy. Because first of all, you can still use mods in cross-compatibility. So you can use all these mods you want to use and still have your friends join you. If they're on Xbox, they can use those mods. Now, certain changes have occurred so that it can run better on Xbox. For example, Xbox doesn't have scripting, meaning most script-based mods will not work on Xbox or PlayStation 5 as far as I'm aware. Meaning that if you are playing with PC-only mods, you won't be able to use or play with your friends on Xbox. But if you're using Xbox mods, both of you can play and still use the mods, which is just an amazing feature for me. And I feel like the two or couple main things is that it's affordable for the person buying the game, and it's compatible, so that others who don't maybe have the money to spend on a $3,000 computer can pay $20 on their Xbox and still get this game. And if they put stuff on Game Pass, it's even easier for people to be able to play this game. And it just makes me so happy that they've done this and made it cross-compatible. Now, I know cross-compatibility has been out for a while now, but I've never really truly recognized just how nice of them it really was. For a lot of us, we maybe thought it was just another feature that was expected or should have been in the game for a while, but in reality, it's really difficult to implement. And the fact that they've added it is just a really nice feeling to know that they're listening to the community. For example, they made a whole community update just entirely about what the community wanted in the game and then added it. They worked on an entire update just to play or add the community stuff to the server, or the Space Engineers. But they put that effort in from you. They didn't need to. They chose to, showing that they not only have dedication to their community, but they're willing to listen to them, which not all game companies will do. Not all games will listen to the community and implement their ideas. I have yet to see, as far in the games I've played, them implement a update purely based on what the community wanted. I've never seen that happen before. And the fact that Space Engineers did that shocked me, and I was so happy they did. Because stuff that we wanted into the game finally got added. Stuff that was just needing to be there, in our opinion, is now there, making the game more appealing to everyone. Now, as much as I love Space Engineers and how much I've played single player, on this channel you will find a Let's Play I am playing single player in right now, without DLCs or installing mods, which we'll get into later. The fun is going to burn you out. For some people like me, sometimes the creativity will keep you involved in the game and you'll still really enjoy it. But that's not guaranteed. For example, when I first started playing Space Engineers, I got really bored. I couldn't play consistently by myself without having the fun of interacting with others. And to be honest, the NPCs in Space Engineers, while have been getting better over the years, are still really bad. I mean, as it is, there's still no actual random encounters in the game, which I think is absolutely ridiculous. There should be much more random encounters and interesting stuff in the game for single player people. And I believe that without DLCs or without mods or scripted mods that will allow you to have these random encounters to improve the fun of the game, it's just not worth buying. Luckily though, mods are free. But we'll get into that later as we're going to talk about multiplayer in Space Engineers. So in my final opinion, do I believe you should get Space Engineers? Is it worth buying in 2024? I would say absolutely. Space Engineers is 100% worth buying in 2024 if you are the person that would enjoy that type of stuff. And typically, if you're looking at this, you probably are. If you're into sandbox games like Minecraft, but you also are really into the space aesthetic, having to build atmospheres, having to enjoy the game, and actually do certain things to ensure there's pressurization and you can have ships that go in and out of gravity fields seamlessly, no load screens entering or exiting atmosphere, this game is 100% for you. But you also have to keep in mind, is it really worth it if you are a person that loves playing multiplayer? If you love multiplayer, then you're gonna want to make sure that either you get it for your friends or you have friends that have the game so that you can play with them, so that you're not wasting your money on a game that you will only play if someone else is playing with you. You want to make sure that other people will also play it with you. Or vice versa, if you love single player, then go for it. Buy the game, and if you want to, buy the DLCs too. And if you're someone who can't live without mods, even better, because it's built in on this. So in my opinion, there's no reason not to get the game unless there's something specifically about the game you hate to the point where it's not worth buying. I mean, I have a ton of complaints, like the AI, it's horrible. The NPC AI, while being improved with the automatons update, is still not the best AI I've seen implemented. But that is just one small problem which they have already overshadowed with everything else they do that's great. So in my final opinion, I would say Space Engineers is 100% worth buying. So in my final opinion, Space Engineers is completely worth buying. And if you think otherwise, tell me below why. But in my opinion, in today's age, it's worth buying. They continuously update, they listen to the community, they added mod support just so that the community could do what they want with the game, and it's supported officially. I honestly don't see no reason not to buy it. They're pretty much what you want from a company. They're listening to the community, they're adding what the community wants, they're trying to make the game as fun as possible for the player, not for their convenience. So in my final opinion, Space Engineers is worth buying, and if you are looking towards buying the game, typically you will make the right choice. Now, if you're watching this after you bought the game recently, comment down below any of your good experiences with the game or anything fun about the game you had, and tell me, because I'd really like to hear it. So, once again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye.